Hey folks, Ryan Hernadeck here. I want to have a quick talk with you about mask exemptions and how to deal with businesses and, in general, unreasonable people in any organization or facility. When you go to a business or whatever, and you walk in the door and they say, "Do you have a mask?" They're perfectly within their rights to ask that. At which point your response should be, "No, I do not. I am exempt." At that point, that should be enough for anybody. Under the Act, that's all you need to say, and that's all you need to do. So, if at that point, let's say it's a cashier or a representative of a business says, "Okay, so why are you exempt?" Or what's your medical reason? Or are you medically exempt? Or basically anything further, asking for your information that they're not entitled to or have no right to ask, then my recommendation is that you immediately ask for a manager or preferably the owner of the store. Now, at that point, they should just do that, right? That alleviates that person from having to do more than they wanted to do anyway. And most people don't want to have to deal with you or the mask exemption crap anyway. They don't want to deal with the masks for the most part. So most people, in my experience, immediately go, "Great, thank you," and they go and get that person. Now, when you talk to the manager or the business owner, it's important to not get upset with them because they think, in most cases, that they're doing the right thing, but don't realize that they're wrong, or that they're doing it improperly, or that they're opening themselves up to potential legal liability. Now, again, as I always say, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a paralegal, and I'm not authorized to give you legal advice. So this is not legal advice. This is the advice that's been given to me, and I'm just sharing it with you, and I'm sharing with you how well it's gone. So in dealing with the business owners, I usually say, "Hey, look, I know what I'm talking about. I am Ryan with No More Lockdowns Canada, and you are opening yourself up to liability by pursuing the question of why I have a mask exemption. And if you look at the Act, and if you look at your local bylaws and so on and so forth, you will see that exemptions are real, that they're open to anybody based on their medical, religious, or personal beliefs, or it's simply stated that if it impedes your breathing." So you inform them that if they continue to persist with the questions, that they're asking things that they are not supposed to be asking of you, and if they deny you service, they are violating your rights as a Canadian. And in a lot of cases, what I've heard is, "Well, we have a no shirt, no shoes policy, and if you came in here without a shirt on, we would have to kick you out." That's a viable, argument, except for in the cases of exemption. So let's say we'll use the shoe policy, right? You have a shoe policy. Got to have shoes on. But I served in Afghanistan, which I didn't. I'm not, stealing valor or anything. But hypothetically, I served in Afghanistan and I stepped on an IED and I have no feet. This is a reality, actually, for a lot of people, because we all know the Taliban does not fight fair. So I don't have any feet. Can they enforce their shoe policy upon me if I roll in on my wheelchair and choose not to, have fake legs with fake feet? Or even better, if I was out for a jog, and I'm not even sure what they're called, but the spring shoes that allow, amputees to perform athletically. So if I come in with no shoes on, can you kick me out? Long story short, absolutely not. That's discriminating against me based on something that I can't change. So, in the same exact principle, you cannot discriminate against somebody for not wearing a mask. Further to that, offering somebody curbside service because they won't wear a mask is discrimination. And just to be clear, discrimination is not a bad thing. We put a bad connotation on the word, but discrimination can actually be a very good thing. For instance, am I allowed to play in my kid's soccer league? No, absolutely not. Right? We discriminate against adults playing against kids. We discriminate against men competing against women. Unless there's like those liberal-minded people that think it's okay for a transgendered male who now becomes a female to compete against actual women. So now we're encouraging men to beat women. Sorry, I'm getting off topic. Let's stay on this, okay? So, you can't do it. No ifs, ands, or buts. You're discriminating against a person's rights based on the act itself. So if the owner of this business or the manager of this business decides to be unreasonable, you say, okay, I'm going to call bylaw. And they're going to go, well, what? I was going to call bylaw because you wouldn't leave. Oh yeah, see, but the thing is that you're violating the act. So I'm in the right, you're in the wrong, and you're going to get charged. And I'm going to have to contact my legal advisor on this, and we might have to take action too. I certainly don't like being discriminated against. I tried to tell you, I tried to teach you, but you're continuing your actions now in the face of knowledge to the contrary. I've tried to help you, I've tried to teach you, but you're continuing to discriminate against me. And it's against the law, and I'm not going to take it. Now, like I said, in most cases, and I would say at this point, like 95% of the time, I have success with this strategy. And most people say, upon being informed that they're violating my rights under the Canadian Charter of Rights, the Bill of Rights, the Canadian Human Rights Act, and the Provincial Human Rights Act, that automatically like, whoa, what are you talking about? I didn't know this. I thought I was just doing the right thing. 95% of the time, that's what you get. And then you can encourage them to read up on their local bylaw, the Reopening Ontario Act, the mask exemptions, and the other documents that I just listed. I also encourage all of you to do just what I just said. Read through all that stuff. If you do exactly what I say, all you're doing is what you're told. That's the problem. Figure it out for yourselves. Don't be afraid to ask questions. We're here, right? My email is southwest@nomorlockdowns.ca. Shoot me a question. I'll answer it to the best of my ability. And if I can't answer it, I'll find someone who can. And with that being said, again, we need people to understand not just what to say, but why they're saying it. Otherwise, you're literally just being sheep to what I'm saying. How much help is that? None. So, teach you to fish, and you'll fish for life. Okay? So, understand those documents to the best of your knowledge or your best of your ability. There is a lot of junk in there to try to dissect, but all of those documents do kind of go together to form the principles of why somebody can't violate your rights, whether it be because you don't have feet or because you can't wear a mask. And here's the fun part. If the business decides that they want to be unreasonable, some of you might not like this because it's like, well, small business has been hit hard so far, so hard, right? We shouldn't be going after them any further. The government's doing a fine job of that. I don't disagree. But where I do have to make the distinction between whether we should be protecting or going after businesses is if they're going after people. So if you are going to openly, knowingly violate people's rights, I'm coming for you. I'll be bringing my legal team. And we won't stop. I tried to educate you. I did everything reasonable on my end. And you've now made the choice for yourself to break the law and violate my rights or the rights of others. I don't want to do it. I want you to understand so you can do the right thing. But if you choose not to, then you leave me no recourse. So I hope this ultimately very long video, helps you to understand a little bit better about what you can do when you're faced with these problems. And like I said, if you have some questions, shoot them out to me. southwest@nomorlockdowns.ca. I'm always happy to try to help people, and this is a learning process for me too, folks. Like I said, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a paralegal, I'm not licensed to give anybody legal advice, just to cover that one again. But I'm learning, and we can all learn. I think that's one thing that COVID has taught us all. Yours in freedom, folks. We stand free. Take care and enjoy your summer.